This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 528.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one next weekend, WordCamp Gliwice. It's in Poland, April 13th and 14th. And yeah, that's cool. So check that out if you're in that part of the world. All right, that is it for the events. Moving right along, segment one in the news. Two things to talk about here. First and foremost, WordPress 6.5, I meant to mention last week's episode, was delayed by a week. There were some issues with, I believe, the fonts, or was it the media library? I forget which one it was. I think it was the fonts. But nonetheless, 6.5 has been released. It's known as Regina, inspired by the dynamic versatility of renowned jazz violinist Regina Carter. So that's kind of cool. WordPress 6.5 reflects the countless efforts and passion of around 700 contributors in at least 57 countries. And this release also welcomed over 150 first-time contributors, which is really amazing. So, and 6.5, I just heard another podcast about it. I forgot which one it was, but it had some really interesting things, some features and functionality, which I am going to dive into here soon and maybe build a site with it, a dev site, of course, just because I don't know what else I would use it for at the moment. And that said, I will do a review on it in the next few weeks. All right, so that's it for that. Also in the news, some sad news. Jocelyn Mozak passed away. She was a contributor to the community. She had an agency based up, if I'm not mistaken, up in Oregon. Very, very lovely person. I met her a few times at WordCamps on the West Coast. She had a long battle with cancer. She has passed away, and I'll link to the show notes if you want to read about the obits and about her. So more about her in a little bit, actually, as well. All right, moving on. Segment two, this week, it's 8 weeks since we've done one, so it's Q&A, questions and answers from you all listeners. And so we have about, is it 3 or 4? I think I have, I don't know, 3, 4, but they're kind of long answers. So starting off with the first one sent in by Jen, when you hire someone new, what are the questions you ask and consider most as an entrepreneur? Oh, okay, interesting. So I had to think about this one for a bit, because when Jen asked me this question via text, I was getting ready to go to bed. It was late. She's on the West Coast. So anyway, so thinking about it, first and foremost, Jen, my answers are, I think I have 4 different answers here. 4-part answer. First one would be how they heard about the opening. How did they find my agency? Did I post it? Did I share it online? And or was it word of mouth, a referral? And that is, I think, an ideal situation. Having a referral, that way you have some track record. I want to know how they found out about the job. Second is I asked the question, how do they stay current with the tech and trends of the role in question? If they're a project manager, if they're a developer, designer, how are they staying current and what's their process look like? What's their availability? Is the third question. Are they looking, to start right away? Do they have to give 2 weeks notice somewhere? It just depends on the role I'm looking to fill. That could really determine that situation as well. And also I asked the question, which I'm not a big fan of getting this question in the past, when I used to be looking for work, but the question is, where do you want to be in 1, 2, or 3 years from now? Because I just want to know, are they looking for a long-time commitment? Are they willing to make a long-time commitment? They want to grow the company? Are they looking more for temp work, contract work? So what is it that they're looking for? And then, of course, rate. I may have a range in mind. Actually, it's not. I not may have. I always have a range, and I hire based on can they do the job and can I afford them. Other than that, I could care less on other things that some people care about, I suppose. But I just hire for talent and for fit within the company, etc. So I hope that answers your question. Those are the questions I ask. So when I hire. All right. Moving on. Another question here. This one's by Nedra. I don't know who Nedra is, but what are some essential plugins every WordPress user should consider installing? And how do they enhance website functionality? Oh, this is a great question. Yeah. So I went back and looked, and I've gone back and forth with my stack. And I mentioned this in the past. I'll share the ones that popped in my head real quick were WordFence. It gives me protection. I usually install some sort of Google Analytics connection plugin so I can see some basic stats in the dashboard. I use Google Analyticator. I don't love parts of it because, well, just seems to be messy in one aspect, but it works. I also always install pretty links because I want to make my URLs pretty and short. So I do that. I'll do for forms. I mean, I have not a lifetime, but I have a developer license, unlimited, grandfathered in price-wise to Gravity Forms. So I'm a big Gravity Forms person. I use User Switcher a lot because if I want to see how the user may, or like a subscriber or author may look at a site versus an admin, we'll use User Switcher. ACF Pro, Advanced Custom Fields Pro, and or pods. They're different things. One's custom post types, one's advanced custom fields, but kind of they work hand in hand as well. So we'll kind of do a combo there. Code snippets, been using that a lot lately. Love code snippets. And lastly, the last thing I've added most recently would be Ad Sanity. Because when I'm doing some sort of any type of affiliate type marketing or ads, I like the way it has reporting built into it. So that's kind of cool. Instead of just having like an Amazon affiliate link or any affiliate link for that matter with an image and then having to run reports later, I can just actually have it run through Ad Sanity and see the reports right there. So those are like the kind of a baseline stack of some plugins that I look at on a constant basis. So there you go. Hope that helps you as well. All right, moving on to question 3. This one's sent in by Anonymous. What are the key differences between WordPress.com or WordPress.org? How do I choose which one's right for me? Oh yeah, okay. So I get this one often, usually outside of WordPress events, obviously, when people find out that I am involved in WordPress or I have a podcast and they know of it. So they ask this question, what's the difference? So the 3 main things I would consider are hosting, customization control, and cost. And talking about those real quick would be WordPress.com offers hosting as a part of its service. Your website is hosted on their servers, means you don't have to worry about many things of managing hosting yourself. WordPress.org, of course, you got to find your own hosting provider, install the WordPress software, and you have full custom control over the entire environment. For the most part, some hosts don't give you full control, but most of them do. Under customization and control, again, WordPress.com offers some customization options. They're more limited compared to .org. You have access to a selection of themes and plugins, but you can't install custom themes or plugins unless you upgrade to a paid plan. Additionally, you have less control over the back end of your site. .org, the opposite of that. You have complete control over your website. You can install any theme or plugin you want. You can customize your site's code, and you have full access to the back end. So there's that. And lastly, cost. WordPress.com both offers free and paid. Free plans come with the limitations like I mentioned, and it has display ads. And the free version is like a subdomain. You can have a free version completely where it's like your site.wordpress.com. Paid plans offer more features, but come with that cost. .org is the software is totally free, but you have to pay for hosting. You have to buy a domain, and you may need to purchase premium themes or plugins for those advanced features. So there you go. So I used to be, and I'll be honest here, I used to be really anti.com, like really anti a long time ago. I've since come way around because for many people, it just makes sense. One less thing to have to deal with. If they're not going to hire my agency to build a site and host it and manage it because they don't need that kind of cost, then use .com as maybe even a business plan if you want some more customizations, but start there. You can always leave and you can always go back. So it just depends on where you are. So you just have to think about those things. And I help consult with clients all the time, helping them with that question specifically and where they should possibly put their business hosted kind of thing. So I hope that helps you, Anonymous. There you go. All right, last one here. This is the last question. How do I optimize my WordPress website for search engines like Google to improve its visibility and attract more traffic? This is sent by Damon. Hey, Damon, I know who that is. So that's the $10,000 question, right? I built it. Here's the site, but where are the people? So, well, as I am not an expert in SEO per se, there are some best practices that are out there. First and foremost, install an SEO plugin. Oh, I should have had this one. Duh. This is part of my stack. Install an SEO plugin. Yoast is what the one we use. Yoast SEO helps really optimize content for search engines, gives you suggestions for improving titles, meta descriptions, etc. That's the first thing I would do. I would also optimize your content because optimize content, high quality, relevant content that answers your audience's questions or solves a problem is the best way to get better ranking. So, and using natural keywords throughout the content also helps. You want to avoid keyword stuffing. Okay. And lastly, mobile, optimize for mobile. ensure your website these days is mobile friendly. Google gives preference to mobile responsive websites. Use a responsive theme. Test your website on many different devices to make sure it looks and functions as well as it can on all different screen sizes. So there you go. Yeah, that's what I would do. SEO plugin like Yoast, optimize your content, optimize for mobile. Those three things, some basic common sense within the SEO best practices. All right, is that the last question? That is the last question. Cool. Moving right along. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. So this one is back to Jocelyn, WordPress.tv. I put a link in the show notes. You can go find all of her talks that she gave that were recorded at least, and kind of see who she was and learn from her because she was amazing. So yeah, there you go. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that SpeakPipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon, kitchensinkwp.com/Patreon. You can sponsor the show. There's a form on the website. Fill it out. I'll get right back to you. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.